Hey guys, Richard here with another episode of Odin's Wisdom and Old Norse Paganism. So today, I've been kind of drawn into talking to you guys about something that maybe is a little kind of out in left field, or at least not the norm, but maybe it's just in a different way of speaking about it to you guys. I'm not sure how I've been drawn to it. I just know that I have. That being said, let's talk about building bridges. Ever since I was a kid, I remember hearing my folks tell me, "Oh, you don't want to burn those bridges because you never know when you're going to have to cross over them." And some years later, I came across a little quote that Isaac Newton had done that stated, we build too many walls and not enough bridges. Now, clearly these are metaphors, okay? So don't take this week's sermon as literally we're going to build a bridge, because we're not. I am not an engineer. I don't know jack shit about structural engineering. Okay, that's not my forte. So anything that I've discussed in the written portion of this post regarding building bridges doesn't have anything to do with literal building bridges. So that being said, building bridges can apply to a ton of things, okay? Building relationships with the gods, building relationships with friends, your spouses, your family, sisters, brothers, mothers, uncles, aunts, grandparents, whoever, okay? So these things can literally apply to anything, okay? And it's not necessarily just relationships even. It can be connections in general, whether it's a connection with the earth, whether it's a connection with yourself, okay? Sometimes we have internal bridges that we have to build as well. You know, as an example, I recently had to deal with a gap that I had in knowing my limits in my pride. Okay, I'm a prideful man. And for those of you that know me, you know I am very, very prideful. And as a result, I don't like asking for help. I hate asking for help. You know, and for those of you that are following a lot of our content and see all the content that I put out, I'm putting out a lot of content between the different social media platforms and the blog posts and the videos like this one, and you know, just making sure I react to everybody's comments, everybody's feedback, you know. And I could use some help, you know. Perfect example, we have a page on the website that talks about, hey, volunteers wanted. And there's a whole list of stuff on there looking for volunteers. Okay, and there's stuff on there that I don't have listed that I could probably still use volunteers for. But nonetheless, my pride gets in the way of that sometimes, and I don't like asking for help. And it was hard for me to even put that volunteer page up. So I had to build this bridge. And that page, for me, was kind of the bridge. Okay, that page kind of helped me bridge the gap with my pride, knowing that I need help. And it was a way for me to kind of ask for help without asking for help. Kind of like with the recent Patreon, okay? I've been laid off since January of this year, and unfortunately I'm struggling to find work. I've been looking and looking and looking. Now granted, Old Norse Paganism has kind of turned into a full-time thing for me, but I'm still struggling to find work, and I am diligently looking every single day. But as a result, bringing you guys this content and hosting it on the website and all of these different things. It takes money. I'm paying for that. I'm paying for the search engine optimization so that you guys can find it. Paying for the contracts with the vendors for our marketplace to try and help generate a revenue to cover the costs of this stuff. I don't like asking people for money. I don't like asking people for help. So my kind of workaround for it was, well, let's create a Patreon and we'll give 3 tiers, do 3 different sets of bonuses for each tier, and we'll kind of give those as rewards, and they're paying for those rewards. Okay, not a big deal. Again, another form of a bridge for me, asking for help. Okay. So bridges come in all shapes, sizes, forms, whatever. So the first thing you need to know about building a bridge, though, is where do you want it to take you? What do you want it to do? Are you wanting it to build a relationship? Are you wanting it to help close a gap for you? Are you wanting it to make your relationship stronger with your wife? You know, those are the first things you need to determine. What is it you're looking for a bridge to do? Okay, is it even appropriate to have a bridge for something like that? Okay, and those are other factors to consider. You know, so once you've figured all that out, though, the very next thing you're going to want to do is establish the foundation. Well, the best way to build the foundation, like anything, I mean, whether it's a house, a bridge, whatever, you have to have a solid foundation, period. You can't just go throwing a bunch of sand in there and then poof, put a house on top and expect it to not sink or shift or sideways swallow or whatever. Okay, same goes for a bridge, guys, even in this metaphoric sense. Okay, so how do you build that? Well, you start by knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, if you know your strengths and weaknesses, you know where to ask for the help and how to ask for the help, as well as where you're not going to need help, so you don't need to necessarily look for and waste time looking for additional resources for help to do so. Okay, and it's not the same for everybody. We all have different strengths, we all have different weaknesses, you know, and it makes no difference on what is limiting your ability to build these bridges. None. Because you are the only one that is truly the limitation on these bridges. Okay? If you have any self-doubt or any hesitation, you're right. If you think you're going to fail, you're right. If you think you're going to succeed, you're right. And I'm an absolute believer in that. And even with the gods, you know, they've shown me time and time and time and time again, even with Old Norse paganism and being broken, being laid off, somehow Old Norse paganism gets exactly what they need when they need it. Not a second beforehand. Oh, no, no, no. We're going to let you sweat it a little bit there, Richard. But, you know, case in point, the hard drive on the computer that I use specifically for Old Norse paganism and Old Norse paganism alone, the hard drive was filling up from all these videos. Somehow, the gods gave us a way to get another drive. Give us the storage space we need for these videos, for you guys. You know, God's gave me the strength to let our community know, hey, we're running out of space. I need some help. You know, which took a lot. But we have a great community, and the gods saw fit to have somebody else in a position that they were able to help, and that person, bless their heart, was able to help. Don't let your pride be in the way. Okay? If you need help, ask for it. Knowing your weaknesses and strengths, though, it'll also allow you to perform general maintenance on the bridges that you're building. You know, whether it's a phone call to a buddy, hey man, just wanted to check in on you, how you doing? Or a friend of yours got hurt and you hear about it from another friend, call them, check on them. You know, takes 30 seconds. Send them a text. 5 seconds. Boom, done. Okay? The 5 seconds might not seem like much to you, but somebody who's laid up in the hospital or sick in bed, a quick text message saying, hey man, here you're not feeling too well. Hope you get to feeling better soon. Man, took you 5 seconds to write that text. The person laying in that bed though, shit, they're like, oh man, that's awesome. They're thinking about me. And it makes them feel good. And I'll tell you what, that can make all the difference in the world. That's maintenance. Maintenance at its finest. Understand this though, guys. Building bridges takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Period. I don't care how good you are. And I like to think I'm pretty good at building bridges. You know, I've always struggled 99% of my life, I think, to try and maintain my bridges and try to avoid burning them when I've had to. You know, but on the rare circumstances, there have been occasions where it was in my best interest to sever ties, sever bridges, blow them bitches up. Because it had become a situation where it wasn't healthy for me. Okay? The gods want you to be healthy. Okay? They don't want you to do things that are going to cause harm to yourself, your families, things like that. Even if that means trying to help your fellow brothers and sisters. So, you know, and I always tell all the volunteers for Old Norse Paganism, you know, if it's going to cause you a hardship with you personally, with your family, with your finances, don't do it. Do not do it, period. The reason is because the gods will provide, and I have absolute faith that the gods will provide, and they do, every time. I don't know how, but they do. So guys, you have to keep the faith, okay? And it's not all a one-way street on these bridges, guys. You have to be willing to give too, okay? Here's an example. Let's say I've got a friend, and this is just an example. It's not an actual situation, okay? But I've got a friend. They're always drama. Da, 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 da. Number one, if you know me, I hate drama. Can't stand drama. Don't want nothing to do with it. Don't even want to listen to it, okay? That's just me. I don't deal well with it. Kind of like I don't deal well with stupidity. And yes, there is a difference between ignorance and stupidity. Okay. So anyway, example is, I got this friend, full of drama, blah, 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 blah. I know, as one of my weaknesses as a friend, I don't deal well with that garbage, period. So, what can I do to aid this friend in his time of need where he needs to vent, blow off some steam, make himself feel better, and maybe help him come up with a solution to whatever it is that's causing all this chaos over here. Okay? Well, as a friend, it is my opinion that I should try to find one of our mutual friends who does have a little more patience, a little more willingness to listen to the drama, a little more willingness not to get sucked into the drama, like I would ultimately end up doing, and then just become like this huge festering wound of pussy ugliness. Not good. Okay, but find this friend that would be able to avoid becoming that wound and avoid being sucked into it, and be willing to and able to help out and encourage them to move in the right direction, whatever the dramatic situation happens to be. That's okay. You can do that. Okay? It's still you being a friend. It's still you trying to maintain that bridge. It's still you trying to be there for your friend. You just happen to know your weaknesses and your strengths, and therefore you know where to be and when to be there versus when not to be there. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that, guys. So in conclusion, we're going to wrap this up here. Remember, these things take time. Nothing's going to happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day. Okay? But be careful about what bridges you burn down. You never know when you are going to have to cross them again. And think long and hard about burning it down, because you better make damn sure you're ready to give it up, because chances are you might not be able to rebuild. Okay? So, guys, I love you. As always, may the gods bless you, keep you safe. Thank you all for the amazing support.